Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sesh. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Hello, hotties of the world, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Smoke Sesh. My name is Hannah, your host, as you guys know, and I'm so happy to be back here on the internet's number one smoke sesh. Oh my god, I can't believe so many new people listening to this. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here and on the journey of kind of just self-actualization and the journey of realizing maybe we're not so alone as we might think. I love the concept of a smoke sesh because everybody's invited. You know what I mean? At least the ones I went to, like the nerds, the quiet kids, the popular kids, the student athletes, the art kids, they were always in the sesh together, and it always had a habit of bringing people who would never speak prior together to talk about like weird deep topics like family trauma and aliens. And I love that kind of environment, so I'm so happy to have you here at the Smoke Sesh, and hopefully we can have a little bit of fun together. Don't have much to catch you guys up on. I have really just been trying to get my life semi on track so I can start the new year off strong. I kind of want to start the new year off with like a bang and a kick, not trying to catch up and play catch up. I feel like the new year can be so stressful when you just wait until January 1st to start doing all the things that you want to do. Girl, that is too much to accomplish all at once. Of course, you're going to be stressed out. Of course, you're probably going to stop doing it. You know, your brain's not going to want to handle all of that change right then and there. It's quite a bit to take on, especially during the winter time. So this December, I've really just been taking it like one step at a time, starting with like deep cleaning my house. I kind of need to purge my house a little bit, get rid of all the random shit that I don't need anymore, random clothing that I don't need anymore, random dishes that are just like broken in my cabinet. Like, girl, why do you have those things? That kind of situation. Post-COVID, I was really just out of it. So the whole month of November, I didn't really get a whole lot done. So kind of playing catch up here, focusing on the little things now that I finally have the attention span and energy to do so. And it feels nice. It really does. I managed to survive Friday the 13th somehow. It was so incredibly hectic for me personally. I woke up in the morning and I had to go get my car inspected, which really is no big deal. My dad comes with me, so I'm not alone, so I know how to answer questions and blah blah. But the place we go to is sketchy as fuck. Literally, it's just like a random garage in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, okay, pull up to the garage door and honk your horn once. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Where are we? There's no signs. There's no windows. Like, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, honk my horn. They open the garage doors. I drive in. It's like 15 men in there, all working on their cars separately. They're like, there's like a wood burning stove in the middle of the garage. I'm like, is this even legal or acceptable? What is happening? Anyways, pulled up there. Of course, tail end of Mercury retrograde. So obviously I had something wrong with my car, had to leave, go get a new headlight, come back, re-inspection, everything passed, fantastic. As I go to turn my car on to drive out of the garage with 50 other cars behind me, because it's the end of the month and everybody's getting their car inspected because they need new tags, my car won't start. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay, great. Yep. Thank God I was in a garage full of men with my dad, who also works on cars for a hobby. So he immediately hopped out, found a random man with a jumper cables, and jumped my car. Luckily, everything is okay. Everything's okay. I've learned in the moments, just don't panic. Panicking is never going to solve the situation. It's never going to bring enlightenment to the situation or how to solve it. So you might as well just like sit back, relax, and cross your fingers and hope that shit works out. And usually, actually 99.9% of the time, it does work out in your favor. Drove out of there, came home, chilled for a bit. I did work my service industry job on Friday the 13th. If I could recommend not working in the service industry on Friday the 13th or full moons, highly recommend. Unfortunately, I gotta make money. I'm clocking in on those days, of course. But the air of chaos is really, really eminent, and you can really tell how it's affecting people, especially when you work hand in hand with people. That's why, nurses are always like, oh, it's a full moon out. The people are acting crazier. It's because they're involved with so many people. They see so many people. They come across them and they can tell when shit's out of whack. And the same goes for the service industry too. I pull up to work and one of my coworkers has been fired. Ooh, yeah. That week, my brother was in town for a business conference to do some manager things, whatever. Big boy job energy. And he was like, oh, I'll stop by your restaurant and have dinner. I'm like, yes, I love it. My restaurant's so cute. Like, I would love to have you. Food's amazing. And so he pulls up. He sits down at the bar. We're chit-chatting. And the bartender, those people who, God love her, but sometimes, you just get yourself in a bad situation, and then unfortunately the bad situation does happen to take over your mindset, and then everything that comes out of your mouth is just negative. Those people where it's like, damn, bitch, like, is your life really this bad, or is it just like how you're framing it? I do think it has to do with like just general viewpoint and how you see your life. And of course, if you don't see anything positive, then you're only going to be saying negative things. But I would be trying to talk to my brother, and as I'm like trying to talk to him, she would interrupt everything that we were saying to each other to then complain about what we were saying to each other in tandem with her life. And it was just overwhelming. Like, me and my brother were looking at each other like, okay, girl, okay, please, for the love of God, like, can we just talk to each other? Like, not even in private. You can listen to us. We don't give a fuck. But like, you don't have to keep interrupting us with negative things over and over again. And it apparently, which like, I knew it was not great, but it apparently was so bad that the other random man sitting at the bar next to him had sent in an email to the owners being like, if someone doesn't want to work here and like isn't having a good time, I don't think you should employ them. Oh my God, that is crazy. So yeah, I think they had a conversation on Friday right before we clocked into one of our busiest serving days. And she ended up being like, okay, well, if you're going to fire me, I quit, and left. Oh, great. Fantastic. So we were down one server. We're already a teeny tiny little restaurant. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me strap in. Let me do the best that I can. Let me handle my tables and keep a smile on my face and make sure these people are served. Mid-dinner rush, around 8 o'clock, as, everybody's deciding to go out and eat, one of my other coworkers, mom's ends up in the hospital, which is so horrible and awful. And it's like, yes, okay, leave, go do your thing. Like, we got it here. But wow, I have never seen time move by so fast in my entire life. Literally, the owner of my restaurant was upstairs, like, bussing tables, serving tables. Never seen him do that before. But, like, he is a down-ass person. Like, he's like, what do you need help with? Let me jump in. Let me help you guys. It was so chaotic and insane that I was literally looking at tables and being like, yeah, so sorry about this. Big Friday the 13th energy. My restaurant also likes to cut down on food waste so they don't over mass produce things, like, to prepare for the day. So by 8-9 o'clock, where we're hitting our rush, we're out of half the menu. I'm having to like apologize to people, like, so sorry about this. We're out of this. Please understand. Big Friday the 13th energy around here. Luckily, everybody was so cool and so understanding. I know if I had one table that just like, they could have easily snapped on me, but if they snapped on me, I would have snapped internally and started breaking down in the walk-in, and I don't need any of those situations anymore in my life. I have cried in enough walk-in refrigerators. I'm good. I've lived that experience. I don't need to live it anymore. luckily the universe saw me trying and persevering the best that I could and showed up for me and made sure everybody kind of approached me with that same, silly positive attitude. And I really, really appreciate the universe for kind of reciprocating that back to me so I could survive that night. Ended up coming home, devouring Taco Bell per usual. 1 a.m. I'm getting off my shift. Best believe I'm getting a grilled cheese burrito. No meat, sub beans, side of sour cream. There's nothing better. And yeah, that was wow. Wow. That was wild. I do kind of love working in the restaurant industry because you'll blink and 8 hours go by. But also like, wow, is my body just exhausted and I don't want to speak to anybody for 3 days. Anyways, the next day, ended up going out to brunch with my friends. Was fantastic. Tried this new restaurant that the owner of my restaurant recommended. They're like friends. He said it's fantastic. It was genuinely fantastic. It's called Room 39. If you're in Kansas City, highly recommend. They have amazing breakfast, lunch menu. I need to get back for dinner. I'm very excited to try that. I love a small restaurant, like one with less than 10 tables, very intimate, very cute. Me and my friends did that, and then we ended up going to this vintage flea pop-up where all these just like vintage vendors were selling things. Guess who I saw? You remember Throwback, the men who were literally rushing in to basically rob the thrift stores of all of their vintage stuff, pushing over old ladies, pushing over mothers with strollers. They were there. Yes, they were there. Of course they were there. Men selling vintage for absolutely like $100 for a hoodie. Hell no. Best believe we made eye contact and they just looked away. I was like, this is too funny. Didn't really end up buying anything. Just kind of walked around, had a little mimosa, and then yeah, it was just had to clock back into work a lot. Busy weekend. Today's my day off. I'm feeling good though. We have reached the end of Mercury retrograde. We have survived it. We have made it through. I hope you feel the breath of fresh air that is approaching us. We also just had a full moon in Gemini. I love anything in Gemini. I'm like, immediately I just feel at home. The duality of it all. I feel like if you have a hard time with like contradictions or duality or being able to exist in reality in a contradictive aspect, you have a hard time with Gemini. Listen, two things can be true at once and you kind of just have to accept that, but I love that energy. So yesterday, to celebrate the Gemini full moon, I really just got into my deep cleaning mode. I wrapped all my presents, I ordered groceries, I cleaned everything. It was fantastic. Oh my god, it was so great. I did some mood boarding. Patreon girlies, my yearly or New Year's mood board is up now. Also, for those who have sat here and been like, I want to join the Patreon, but I'm not sure. I will be updating the Patreon, updating the tiers, and also lowering the prices to hopefully reach out to more of you guys here soon. That will start at the beginning of the new year. So stay tuned for that episode. I will fill you in on all of the perks, on the prices. That is yet to come, and I'm very excited for that. But in my New Year's prep and planning, as I work on my resolutions, which I will share in our New Year's episode, I also figured I would create a New Year's ins and outs list. I love an ins and outs list. I kind of hate an outs list because as a Gemini, once again, duality, understanding two things can be true at once. There's nothing that's really ever out, but this year I really took time to think and ask myself, like, okay, what am I just kind of exhausted of seeing? What if I'm tired of just like leaning into? And what new things can I bring into my life to bring in that breath of fresh air? So this is my New Year's ins and outs list. All right, starting strong for the girls. Outs, situationships. Gone are the time of situationships, ladies. Unfortunately, starting January 6th, we will be living in Trump's America, and situationships are just like not safe at this point. Girl, if you are not willing to give up 18 years of your life to this man, then why the fuck are you sleeping with him? Why are you giving up your whole heart, your head, every single moment of time and space and energy that you have for a man who can't even decide if he wants you in his life or not? Gone are those days. At this point, situationships are self-harm, and self-harm is out this season. polyester, any sort of synthetic plastic clothing, not feeling it, not really into it. Very much so into 100% cotton and how it feels against my skin. Thrifting real denim, things that are going to last you a lifetime. With that comes just kind of being more conscious with what we are buying clothes-wise, becoming more conscious of trends, becoming more conscious of just what we are putting on our body and how it makes us feel. A lot of the time, I think a lot of people have imposter syndrome and can't put together outfits because we're just trying to emulate what we're seeing on the screens. It does not work because it's not you. And I feel like polyester is the over-encompassing idea of just fake trendy outfits. Wear what makes you feel like you. I mean, in general, fakeness of any fashion. We're seeing it now with all the lip filler being dissolved, with the body modifications kind of falling behind. Out is the season of the BBL. Out is the season of the filters. In is the rawness, the realness. You know, I think we're really tired of seeing this AI archetype of the perfect woman and everybody just looking the exact same. I think people are tired of it. I think it's become boring. And I think we're over just the fakeness in general. I want a real raw ass bitch, you know? Another one of my outs. This might be personal, but drinking excessively, I'm over it. I realize I'm an alcoholic. And I realize this not because I'm sitting here like craving it or I really just need a drink. I get that way with smoking, but not in a negative way. It's more so like, it's the end of the day, fuck it, let me hit a bowl. But with drinking, after I have one glass of wine, it turns into, well, why not a bottle? And the whole excessively drinking part is something that I really want to cut back on. Now, one glass of wine, end of the night, here and there, not a huge problem. But gone are the days where I think I can excessively drink on a daily basis. Just for my mental health, my bodily health, and overall energy levels. I cannot excessively drink anymore. What are you getting that is a positive out of that experience? This is another one of my outs, linoleum gray. You know the whole like millennial gray archetype? I just cannot stand that anymore. It really gives government building, and that is very scary to me. It gives like Big Brother is watching, and that is spooky and scary to me. I love gray in a natural neutral sense, such as like the gray of a piece of stone or the gray of a piece of marble. I love that. Gray of plastic linoleum flooring, cannot do it anymore. Gray of government building, not feeling it. Comparison. I think a lot of us are stuck where we are, stuck in who we are, afraid of change and growth because we are constantly comparing ourselves to one another. I think it really hinders who we are and hinders our own self-exploration. And I think as soon as you get rid of that comparison mindset, it really frees you and opens you to growing in any different path that you could ever imagine. But comparing yourself to other people will never have any benefits. It will never help you grow. It will never help you reach even the level that they're at, that maybe you appreciate and want to get to. You must always exist in the format that you're in and understand the only person that you can compare yourself to is your past selves. In general, I do think the comparison, the fakeness, the polyester, the escapism is driven by phone addiction. Phone addiction is out. Get into the real world, babe. Please, I'm begging you. The things that you see on Pinterest that inspire you, you can find in the real world. You can create those memories. You can have those girls' nights. You can wear that outfit. But the more you sit and think about it and just stare at an image on your phone, the less you're doing. I started paying attention to my screen time and I was like, wow, I am never getting those hours back ever again in my entire life. I need to get off my fucking phone, get off that damn phone, and get into the real world. It's going to feel awkward at first. You're not going to know what to do, but you will eventually. Boredom will drive you into places that will help you grow. Another one of my outs, overconsumption. Yes, overconsumption is out. You do not need that new thing. You do not need that piece of clothing. You do not need to change your whole style, trend, feelings based on something that is a hashtag on TikTok that is only going to last a week. It's not necessary. It is a waste of money. It is not helping you in any sort of sense. Overconsumption is out. Budgeting for me personally, big. That's an in. I think budgeting is not only going to help you save money, duh, but it's going to help you really think about what you're spending money on. If you only have a certain amount of money, like fun money to spend in a week, you're going to really think about, like, do I actually need that thing? Do I actually want that thing? Is it something that I'm desiring? Is it something that's going to actually make my life better? Or am I just spending money for the sake of spending money? Last one of my outs is, and let me explain this to you, because I feel like you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, girl, what? But I think icons are out. You know, the whole, like, Kim Kardashian of it all. The big, out of touch, famous, rich icons. I think we really, really enjoyed that for the past like 10 years. The exuberance of it all, the hierarchy of it all, wanting to reach that insane amount of wealth. But people are over it. It's become out of touch at this point. The general American watching this is not living in a multi-million-dollar mansion. They don't have their daddy's credit card to spend on food. They are thinking about every purchase that they're making. They don't have random money to spend here and there to go on these crazy trips. The out-of-touchness of just these wealthy icons that we've been really lifting for the past 25 years, we're seeing the downfall of it. And instead, we are looking towards people who are like us, the everyday people. Think Emma Chamberlain in like 2016. That is who the new icons are going to become. The people who you can actually generally relate to. I think in the past, we kind of wanted that escapism of living in someone else's lifestyle for one moment, you know, watching these crazy videos of these people with this exorbitant amount of wealth, going on these trips, spending this money. It was fun. But now I think people are starting to see the facade, and engaging with that kind of content with those previous icons doesn't feel the same way it used to. I think now we're going to start to see the rise of the best dressed kind of YouTubers, the Emma Chamberlains, the people who are just like in school, working a regular job, trying to make their silly little life a little bit more whimsical and fun in whatever way that they possibly can. You know, going through the daily emotions of life, but also having someone to do that with you, watching someone else do it to provide inspiration, seeing that you're not alone in these journeys. Those are the kind of influencers and people that are truly, truly going to blow up, not the crazy, rich influencers. Gone are those days. And in are the icons of the commoners. All right, let's talk about my ins for my new year. Candlelight. This is very strange. I don't know. I was really high when I was making this list, and I was like really thinking about it. Ins for me, candlelight. In the evening, I really like to calm down. I really like to just take some deep breaths to really create an atmosphere for me. And I love candles. I love candles. I hate an overhead light. Too glaring, too bright. It's going to give me a headache. But lighting candles all around my house, it really provides a sense of just like warmness, coziness, comfortness. I love it. Another big in that I'm noticing, and I think this is really going to transform, is astrology spirituality. And I know astrology spirituality has been in for a long time, but I think it's going to really make this jump of just not just believing in, oh yeah, my star sign anymore, but people really looking into astrology, getting into spiritual practices, getting into the developmental of it all, and not in like a weird culty yoga teacher way, but more so in a personal growth aspect. I think people are going to be reaching out to astrologers, reaching out to tarot readers for understandings and guidance. I think that's going to be really, really in this year. And in for me personally, long hair. I've had one girl in my ear for the longest time, like, cut your hair, let me cut your hair, let me cut your hair. And I realized that's just the evil eye. Girl, I don't trust you. Why would I put you in front of my hair with a pair of scissors? That scares me. I love my long hair. I do probably need a trim and a color or whatever, but it's something that I've been working on for a long time. Long hair was also on my New Year's ends for me personally last year, and now I want it like I want 6 foot long hair. Like, I want to be the new Rapunzel. I know that's a little crazy, but there's something just so comforting and natural about it, and I love it for me personally. Tea. I think tea is going to have a big revival. I've been seeing a lot of videos where it's like, make my evening tea with me, make my morning tea with me. I just in general been drinking a lot of tea, especially at work. I make a lot of tea for people. And so I've really been into the whole, well, how am I feeling? What's going to make me feel better? What am I craving? And I love a little drink. What girl doesn't love a cutesy little drink? Warm, cold, fruity, minty. I think tea is going to be very in. In fact, I did ask for a teapot for Christmas. So maybe I'll have some recipes coming soon. Natural fibers will be in. How long will your clothes last you? Are they going to last you 100 years? Are your children going to wear these clothes? Or are you going to wash it 4 times? It's going to fall apart in the dryer. Think about it. I think simple meals will be in. Once again, I think the exuberance is out. You remember those videos where it's like triple decker cheeseburger with mac and cheese on top with a fried egg torched, and we're gonna pour more cheese on top of it. Like, you remember those like high meals where it'd just be like fucking crazy, like the pizza cone of it all. That is out. Simple meals are in. Bread, butter, cheese, fresh fruit, yogurt, sandwiches, salads, simple whole ingredients, rice, protein. I think we're going to see more meals like that. Think the way that like Europeans snack and eat lunch. It's very much so like charcuterie 24/7. I think we're going to see more meals like that, more snacking like that. And the whole aspect of food where we see these 15,000 calorie meals and you can only eat it once a day is going to drop. And we're going to understand that like grazing is going to be in, eating whole foods, kind of like ingredient eating is going to be very popular this year. Lots of baguettes with butter, lots of fruit and cheese. I think national parks are going to be very in this year. I felt this way last year after I visited the Tetons in Yellowstone, and I was like, holy shit, I need to get to more of these. I think people are becoming more one with nature. I think the vacation ideas are switching from all-inclusive resort to really appreciating what this world has to offer and really going and visiting these places that we have deemed special. And I think national park trips are going to be very in, seeing the world and the wonders that it has to offer. Another big in is going to be health and wellness, not in the I'm eating steak for every meal trend, not in the I'm eating bananas for every meal trend, not in the crazy diet, fad diet aspect, but more so in the whole body, treating the whole body aspect, where we're eating foods that make our hearts feel good, that make our minds feel good, that actually generally fuel us. We are participating in workout activities that are not punishment, but are things that make us feel good. Maybe I'm not a weightlifter, but maybe I do want to go do yoga. Well, maybe I want to just stretch for 5 minutes in the morning. I think health and wellness is going to be very in this year. Another big in, like I said, with the fall of the Great Gatsby, financial literacy is going to be very in, paying attention to what you do with your money, getting serious about what you do with your money, budgeting, investing, not in cryptocurrency, but in real sound investments in savings accounts, things like that. This is going to be very in this year. I think female diarists are going to be very in. Books and journals, written by women and their lived experiences. Think a Joan Didion, think a Bell Hooks-ish, Eve Babbitt's adjacent kind of writer. I think we're going to be reading a lot more literature of women of our past and their experiences and learning from them. I think that's going to be very big. Fantasy has had a hold and a grasp on us. And listen, I love a fantasy novel. I love an escapism tactic that is healthy. Always, always. I've never been in the romance era of reading. Maybe one day I'll get there. Maybe this year will become that. But I think in general, we're going to see a big rise of female diarists, of women, and reading their lived experiences and kind of learning through them. Another big in when it comes to the health, wellness, simple meal of it all is farmers markets. Buying locally, sourcing locally, fresh, whole foods, local farms, simple ingredients. I think that's going to be very, very, very in this year. And last but not least, maybe this is just a personal thing, weekly baths. Big, exorbitant kind of self-care moments that we're going to be seeing where it's like we draw ourselves a bath, we have a hot cup of tea, we do that face mask, we dry brush. Really taking that one kind of moment in our week to look forward to something, to have something to kind of reset us, to honor ourselves in that sort of way, and to give ourselves just a break, a moment of peace from the chaos that the world gives. Those are my New Year's ins and outs. I'm sure I'll have many, many, many more. That's all I can really think of in the moment. I'm sure the weed overtook my brain and I stopped thinking. But I will get my New Year's resolutions to you guys at the beginning of the new year. I'll bring those in as a way of celebration and hopefully inspiration. If you guys haven't made those yet, now is the time to think about it. Great way to start. Make an outs list. Okay, what do you not want to bring with you into the new year? What is holding you down? What is holding you back? And then also making a list of things that you did well, things that you want to incorporate more of, things that you think will bring peace and prosperity into your life. These are great places to start. From there, from those small ideas, you can then navigate and create actual beneficial tasks and ideas and daily routines around these things to really incorporate them and bring these resolutions, bring these ins and outs into your life. So cheers to that. With that being said, hopefully that provided you a little inspiration. It's time for us to smoke a bowl and it's time for us to get into all of your guys' questions. Alrighty, cheers, girls. Someone asked, do you ever do or say something and then think, maybe I'm a little insane, girly? Real. Every single time I get on this podcast, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely fucking crazy. I mean, like, I have the psych record to back that up, but also, who cares? Time to own it. I'm tired of pretending I'm not. I might as well just fully be who I am. I feel like once you also claim the title of the insane girly, you're not afraid to start to do work on yourself. When I tried to like pretend I wasn't, or like, no, I'm actually sane while crying every single night, I was not allowing myself space to kind of address what was fucking me up mentally and what was hurting me. And once I was like, no, actually, I am fucking crazy, I started allowing myself to just do more work on myself and focus on myself a bit more in a way that, oddly enough, made me less crazier than I was. Self-proclaimed thought. Help. Oh, okay. I like this question. Wait, I think there's a call-in that also kind of works in tandem with this.
Hannah, Pookie, please help. Love you. So after my company holiday outing party, not with the whole company, just with like a department, I slept with my work crush. It's been building for over a year. He's like kissed me before. This is the first time we like hooked up. He's a self-proclaimed thought though, and I'm a lover girl, and I'm trying not to freak out and just be cool, and I broke celibacy for this.
Well, I'm gonna ask the real question here. Did you have fun? Did you have fun? I'm not here to make you feel shameful. Like, obviously, you wanted to. Obviously, it's been building for a while. Obviously, you wanted a good dicking down. Am I the person to sit here and be like, you should feel shameful for this? No, no, never. Never ever will I be that girl. As long as you had fun. Did you have fun? Girl, did you have a great time? Did you get your needs met? Did you seek pleasure? Did he give you pleasure? If so, honestly, no shame about it at all. That's why I would kind of feel about the whole like thought mindset, the whole hoe mindset. If you're just someone who just enjoys pleasure, knows they're good at it, enjoys having it, and does it with consenting partners who also enjoy having it, what's being a hoe about that? Like that's not being a thought, that's not being a hoe. That's just enjoying sex and having good sex. What the fuck is wrong with that? I think the negative connotation comes in part and in play when people don't have sexual boundaries, you know? I think the whole like thought and hoe term has been skewed because people have been hurt by other people in a kind of sexual, sensual manner. Whether it's like, oh, well, the quote unquote thought slept with my boyfriend or, you know, broke some kind of boundary in that sort of way, then yeah, not great. Should be shameful. Let's respect people's boundaries. But if you're somebody who just like enjoys having sex and especially enjoys maybe having casual sex in whatever manner that may be, as long as it's healthy, and you're having fun and you're seeking pleasure not only for yourself but also for your partner, who cares? You're not going to date the guy from your work. It's not going to be a Parks and Rec. It's not going to be an office Pam and Jim situation. It's not going to happen. Relationships should not take place in the workplace anyways. I think it is very important and very smart to keep your money separately. But occasional hookup, you know, it is what it is. As long as you're both adults and can keep working and acting responsibly next to each other and not taking it seriously, then sure, go ahead. But do I think a relationship is going to come out of this, especially if you are engaging in this kind of behavior with somebody who is a self-proclaimed thought? A self-proclaimed sensual seeker, somebody who is not taking it seriously and did make it clear to you that they're not? No, I don't think a relationship is going to come out of this. And I don't think you breaking your celibacy or, acting in this behavior is bad or is going to have negative connotations. I think you had your fun. You enjoyed your time, hopefully, and you got some good dicking out of it. Sometimes you can honestly just leave it at that. I don't think you have to chase after more. Sometimes you got to see the situation for what it is. And to all my fellow lover girls out there, may I give you the permission to love somebody for a day, to love somebody for a week, to love somebody for a month, and leave it at that. You don't have to get married to every single person out there. You can enjoy your time for a little bit, keep it pushing, let that phase live as long as it needs before it kind of burns out. So, once again, hope you had fun, girl. Hope you enjoyed your time. Company party is crazy. If any of you guys are going to a company party this holiday season, please be on your best behavior. This is not the place to get crazy, wild, cuckoo bananas insane. All right, have a couple drinks, go home, get some good sleep. Last place you want to embarrass yourself is at the company party. You can embarrass yourself at the local bar any weekend. Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot to tell you, I got a Christmas gift early. And of course, it came on the Gemini full moon. The universe knew I needed something. It knew, I needed kind of like a little bit of reassurance. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it came on the Gemini full moon. Yep, everything's making sense. So, my boyfriend came home last night and he's so sweet. He's working this big boy job and it's just, he's clocked in like 70 hours a week. He's making hella money. And I really tested him last year. Sometimes you got to test your boyfriends. I'm not against it. If you're like, does he really ride for me? It's okay to test them in a healthy sense, in like not a scary sense. But last year, he wasn't making as much money. And of course, like, I'm not going to put pressure on him for the holidays, but I was like, hey, I really want this bag. It's like $100, vintage Louis Vuitton. It's the only thing I'm asking for Christmas. Best believe, even though I know he was broke, he got his hands on that bag, plus other things. But like, of course, he showed up for me. He heard me. I spoke what I wanted and I gave him a link. Very simple. He got it done. Well, this year, he's like, well, now that I'm making hella money, let me just get every single thing this girl wants. Like, keep sending me links, babe. And so I did ask for something that was pretty big, and I genuinely did not think he was going to get it for me. But in my apartment, I use a majority of my living room and my dining room as a workspace. I use my dining room table, since it's massive, as like a packaging order space, as a computer desk space. Sometimes I work on the couch in my living room as a computer desk. Sometimes I do art in there. Whatever it is, it's just like I felt like the apartment was out of control because my shit was just everywhere. And I told him, I was like, I really want my own computer desk space. Like, he brought his, he has his own. I don't know why I never thought about having my own desk space. I just have never had one. So it wasn't something that necessarily clicked in my brain. Like, girl, you just need your own area. Even though like the whole apartment is my area. So I was like, I really just want like a desk and this chair and this organizer. And like, you don't have to get it for me. It's really something I've been thinking about. So yesterday he comes home and he's like, okay, listen, babe, I know it's early. It's just, this thing is massive and I don't want to waste all our wrapping paper on this thing and attempt to hide it in our apartment. It's going to be impossible to hide. So why don't you just open it right now? He got me the exact desk I asked for and my own chair and all this organizing stuff. Oh my God. I have never been more excited and felt more seen, because he's a gamer and he's like, you know what? I feel that, like I want my own space to go to at the end of the day, to do my work, to kind of like hone in on what the fuck I need to do without it interfering in like our relaxation areas, such as the living room, the bedroom, the dining room. Like, those should be used for those things. But like my work and my video games, that can stay at my desk. He's like, I love having my space and I want you to have that as well. Oh my God, he's so sweet. Like, I literally have never been more excited to go set up a desk, like a work area, which I'm going to be doing after I finish filming this podcast, as it will be my new editing space. Eee! But it feels so nice to be in a relationship where you're like seen and heard and they show up for you. It is genuinely a breath of fresh air. And if you are not feeling this way in your relationship, please talk to them. Test them if you need to. Be upfront, be straightforward. That is the only way me and my boyfriend have been able to get to this place, is just like, we feel safe and we feel comfortable and we feel loyal to each other. So if we want something or we need something, we ask for it. And the other person is going to show up and going to respond in a positive way. They're going to hear you out and they're going to want to make that situation better or make you just the best version of yourself. If you're not feeling that way in your relationship, if you're not feeling heard or seen or just understood in general, please, you can disappear, because I have genuinely never been so happy in my entire life. And I feel so lucky, but also I had to put that work in. You got to look, you got to think, you got to really ask yourself, am I happy here? Am I being seen? Am I being heard? You deserve that. Someone asked, how do you budget? Okay, so I just recently switched up my budgeting. And I mean, if I'm going to preach financial literacy to you guys, let me tell you what works for me. And hopefully that will kind of jumpstart you into actually not being scared to think about your finances. I feel like when I was younger, I was scared to even look at my bank account, to look at my money, and they want you to be fearful. They want you to be terrified of it, so then you never learn anything, so then you don't become financially literate, and so then you don't become successful in a capitalistic society. All right, you have to pay attention to your finances. Step number 1, they're not scary. It's your money, and you should be paying attention to it, and you should care where it goes. Now, I was having a hard time budgeting because I was trying okay, well, let me try Rocket Money and see if I like the way that, they break things down, if I like the user friendliness of the app. Okay, well, let me try NerdWallet, whatever. I do like NerdWallet for the credit checks and to kind of just be aware of your credit score. I do think it is a fantastic app for that. But for me personally, I fell down this research hole of what is the best app to figure out how to spend your money, where you spend your money, and to budget. And of course, I'm on Reddit threads, I'm looking at all these finances threads, and I came across this app called YNAB. Essentially, the way this app works, and yes, it is a monthly fee. I'm so sorry. I wish I could find something without a monthly fee. They do give you, I think, 1 month free. So if it's something that you do want to try out, I highly recommend. For me personally, I don't mind paying a monthly fee if it's something that I'm actually going to use and it's actually going to be beneficial to me and my money. Now, like that Netflix subscription, when I use it once a month, probably not. But an app that I'm checking every single day and really paying attention to my finances, sure, whatever. I'll pay the $14 a month. So YNAB stands for You Need a Budget, and it works by using a zero-based budgeting method where you assign every dollar of your income to a specific category, essentially giving each dollar a job, like paying rent or groceries or savings, ensuring you account for all of your money and preventing overspending by allocating every dollar before you spend it. This approach helps you prioritize your spending and proactively manage your finances based on your current income, not just what's left over at the end of the month. Have you ever seen those TikToks where it's like, all right, people, let's budget. And they pull out all of these envelopes and they take their income and then they put what they have in their income in each envelope for what that amount of money is supposed to be allocated towards. Whether it's, okay, here's my savings envelope. Let me add $50 here. Here's my rent envelope. Let me add my money here. It's like that, but as an electronic system. So imagine you took all your money out of checking and savings and dumped it into a big pile on the living room floor. This is your essential ready to assign amount. You grab a stack of envelopes and start labeling with the names of all your bills, whether it's like cat, health insurance, pet insurance, rent, groceries, gas, utilities. Then you grab some money off the pile and put it in an envelope where it will sit until you are ready to actually pay the bill. So essentially you're funding this category. So you're going to keep stuffing these envelopes until you don't have any money left on the floor, giving every dollar essentially a job. What's really nice about this is you don't have to do any mental math. You can just move the money where it needs to go. Say you overspend in one category, that's okay. You just got to find the other categories and take from those and move them to the right category. For me personally, this has really, really helped because when I see my checking account, I kind of assume that is leftover money, even though that is and should be allocated to a certain place. And so my spending gets a little out of control because I see it as kind of like this free money category. That is not what it is. And once I started actually assigning the money to where it needs to go and understanding where each dollar is supposed to be, while also budgeting a little bit of fun money here and there so I know how much I'm able to spend, it has really helped me. No, this is not sponsored, literally not at all. I just like sharing what I'm passionate about with you guys. I wish this was sponsored. I doubt this fucking app does that, but it is great and has really helped me reframe my way of thinking and my way of budgeting. So if you need a good app, if you're trying to kind of get in control of your finances, not be so scared of it. Check your fucking bank account at least once a day. Look over those charges, see where they're going, see what you're actually spending money on, pay attention to that. And then also, if you need help really thinking about how much money you truly have to spend and figuring out how to pay rent, how to pay these utilities, and to save the amount of money correctly. YNAB is fantastic for it. Fantastic. The I don't chase, I attract with a girl ain't working. Tips on how to deal with somebody that's sort of distant. Well, the I don't chase, I attract works with people who like you. My hard question here now is, maybe they don't like you. People who are distant, who don't engage frequently or often, who are not excited by your presence, who do not look forward to your next interaction, might not like you. Thus, the out with the situationships in this new year. It's okay to understand that. It's also okay to understand you don't have to make everyone like you. It doesn't inherently mean there's something wrong with you. In fact, it most likely means there's something wrong with them, because honestly, what the fuck is wrong with you? Nothing. I know all of you are perfect little angel babies. But you cannot force someone to like you, nor should you feel like you have to. So if the I don't chase, I attract is not working, it's because they're not attracted. And I hate to be the one to break the news to you, but someone's got to be that serious older sister. Someone stole my $300 Doc Martin package off my doorstep. Please warn the girlies. Real. After having my boyfriend's car literally stolen. And also, I ordered a new Wildflower Cases case, and that was stolen. Shout out to their support team. They're literally sending me a brand new one. I love you for that. Please, like, now is the time where people are like, definitely package stealing. So pay attention to those tracking numbers, girlies. How to stop being a bitch all the time. Interesting. I find myself in this phase periodically. I do think a lot of it has to do with hormones, and I think you should address that and just pay attention to the way your hormones make you feel. I am about to start my period, and notoriously, like, the end of my period and the week after, I am just like a little bit angrier than usual. Usually just means I have just extra energy in my body that I need to exert and not take out on other people. But just generally, the bitchiness is heightened hormonally. So pay attention to that, but I don't want to necessarily blame it all on that, because I don't think I'm just going to be like, well, you're a woman, that sucks. Who the fuck am I to say that? Like, girl, get your hormones in check. It's not all just that. I do think it plays a part. I do think it's something to pay attention to. But the overall, when the bitchiness seeps in and it starts taking over your life and you feel yourself like transform into this scary bitch, this like Hulk-like scary bitch, it's unnerving. And you're also like, whoa, who is that? Like, who am I? Why am I this way? But it's addicting, so it's hard to break out of. I see you. I hear you. You can be saved. We can revert you out of this. Generally, I think a lot of bitchiness is caused by unhappiness. People that I meet in the real world, people, you know, that I experience in the real world, especially as a server, who it's like every single thing that comes out of their mouth is just mean or negative or nasty. Even when I get that way, where I'm like, damn, bitch, like, you ain't got nothing positive to say. Why the fuck? Like, what's going on? It's because people are just unhappy. When you're unhappy, you're going to have an attitude. You're going to have a negative outlook. You're not going to feel the best. You're not going to be able to put a smile on your face. A lot of the times when people are just bitchy, it's because they're unhappy with whatever situation they got going on in life. Maybe it's a relationship situation, friendship situation, parental situation. Maybe it's a financial situation. Maybe it's just your whole fucking life is falling apart. It's gonna be hard to keep a positive outlook when shit's just going wrong. So if you find yourself, you know, and you're like, holy shit, who is this girl in the mirror? What is going on? Why am I being so mean? Ask yourself, what in my life is bringing positivity into it? What am I doing to bring positivity into my life? Am I just going with the motions, the job I hate back home to the home I hate that I haven't cleaned? Am I just going through those motions? What can I change about that situation to maybe make it a little bit lighter, to bring some positivity into my life, to make it easier on me, even though I'm doing the hard things that I don't want to? You can find those things in your life. Unfortunately, you do have to create them. Also, kind of fortunately, because it is up to you. You do have the power to do so. But But I do think a lot of bitchiness is caused by overall disdain and dislike of one's life, especially if you run into people who it's just constantly negative. I don't think it has anything to do with you, and it does have everything to do with what's going on internally behind the scenes in their own life. So don't take that shit personally. But also, if you find yourself in this place, you can find your way out. You got to create those positive situations for yourself. Create a new outlook, create a new routine, find the light in the darkness. It is there, I promise you. Oh my God. My 21-year-old friend is marrying a 30-year-old that is cheating on her and doesn't believe me. Help. Okay. We talked about this a little bit on the Patreon pod, and I wanted to kind of bring this topic of conversation to the rest of you guys as well, because I think this is something that everybody goes through. And it is the being the friend of the person in a very toxic, unhealthy relationship. And what the fuck do you do? It's hard. It's so hard when you're sitting here and you're looking at this person that you love and genuinely only want the best for, and you know they're smart, you know they're kind, you know they're loving. Like, sure, we all have our traumas, but like, they deserve the best, and they're just getting dogged on. And it's like, bitch, I don't know what reality you're seeing, but obviously it's not the right one. And how the fuck do I explain this to you without it being just mean? Because it's gonna sound a little mean, and it's of course gonna be harsh, because it's a harsh ass situation that you're in. Like, how the fuck do you do this? And it's hard. Okay, I'll give you props. I'm gonna give all my friends props who actually came to me in my relationship and were honest to me, especially in my toxic relationship, of like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? Because I only had one friend that I think was like, no, I had friends who obviously saw what was happening and were like, girl, that's not good, but whatever, you know. But the one friend who really, I think, made a difference and reframed the way I started thinking about my toxic relationship was the one who was just straight up blunt and fucking honest to me. And she is a sweet little Cancer babe. Of course, she's going to tell me the truth, and the exact truth, with no emotion behind her eyes other than just like, bitch, do better. And that's what I needed in that moment. When you have a friend who simply can't see reality or doesn't see the toxic relationship that she's in, you kind of allowing her to complain without just being straightforward, honest, and setting boundaries is going to keep that cycle of toxicity going. So if I was the friend, I would be like this: listen, we need to talk. This is what I've seen. I love you. I only want the best for you. And I'm nervous and scared about what's going on and what you're accepting into your life. I understand it's hard to see. I want to verify and tell you that yes, I will be here for you no matter what. But as a true friend, I must speak up and tell the truth. And I hope you can, you know, at least understand me or hear me out. And you just got to say it. You just got to say it. You got to have that conversation. And don't have that conversation 5 times. Don't get serious and stern and, you know, tell the blunt, honest truth over and over and over again. You have it once or twice. You get real, you get vulnerable, you get raw. And then after that, you do not allow any more conversation about that toxic relationship. That's it. That's it. Toxic relationships are addicting, and a part of the addiction cycle, I know this because I've been there, is the complaining. When I was in my toxic relationship, a part of the addiction was me just trying to figure out the situation, because I was just generally confused, because I know I'm a good person, so why the fuck am I being treated like a horrible, awful human being who doesn't deserve to be alive? Like, what's going on? And the reason I was having such a hard time of escaping was because of that cycle, that toxic cycle and that addiction cycle of initial pain, trying to figure it out because I know I'm smart, so I should be able to figure it out. You can't. There is no figuring it out. He's just an asshole. And then the apology phase, and then the honeymoon phase, and then it goes back to the hurt phase, trying to figure it out. Apology, honeymoon, over and over and over again. It's these high highs and these low lows. And best believe when I hit that trying to figure it out phase, I would reach out to all my friends. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. How do I fix it? And, you know, when my friends would hear me out and listen to me and actually talk about it, it kind of, oddly enough, even though they just wanted to be a good friend and like I understand it, it would kind of reinforce that cycle and feed into the toxicity and feed into that addiction simply because I could talk about it and think about it. Once my friend had that conversation with me, that hard conversation, you are not in a good situation. I really want what's best for you. Let me tell you what I'm experiencing and seeing. So hopefully you can open your eyes. After that, she never allowed me to talk about him again. And it was the only friend that I could kind of even talk about him with. So once she set that harsh boundary of like, no more, bitch. I've told you how I feel. You know exactly what I'm going to say. We're not going to keep going in these circles anymore. We can't keep talking about your mean, awful boyfriend because, girl, I don't want to hear about him anymore. I'm here to hang out with you and have a good time. Once she said that, I mean, like, no shame, no hard feelings against her. I understand how some people might have hard feelings against that. And sure, you might have some bad reactions from your friends as soon as you say that because you are kind of putting that boundary in place. And, you know, those walls are not always met with the most friendliness. I got it. But then it forced me to sit with these feelings, these emotions. It forced me to not have this like output place where I then was just having to deal with it and having to really think about these emotions, having to really think about these situations he was putting me in, think about, you know, the behaviors I was experiencing and the emotions I was experiencing, and having to come to my own conclusions. It really forced me to get there. And after you're kind of sitting in that area for a while, you know, sure, you're still going through the same cycle of hurt, thinking about it, apology, honeymoon phase, hurt thing, but you are forced to think about it and remember these things on your own. And eventually you will get to a breaking point where it's like, I cannot keep indulging in this cycle for any longer. Like, it's gonna fucking kill me. I cannot keep doing it. And the only reason I got there is because my friends put that seed in my mind of, no, bitch, here's what's really happening. Here's the reality of it all. Let me be honest with you. And then didn't entertain it further. That was the only kind of thing that helped me get out of that situation. And the only thing that my friends did that helped me get out of that situation. I know you love that friend. I know you want what's best for them, but you cannot always save people. That was a big problem in my life. I was like, well, I can fix him. Well, I can do it. No, bitch, you don't have the time. You got to focus. You got to save yourself first, okay? There's only so much time you can allocate to saving other people before you just completely disregard yourself totally. You cannot always save the people you love. I know you want to. I know you want what's best for them. You don't want them to marry this 30-year-old that's cheating on them. But sometimes you got to realize there's only so much you can control, and what you can control is how you open their eyes to the situation, and then also not allowing these toxic behaviors, these toxic conversations to then continue to exist in your friendship. Your friendship is there for laughs, for love, for understanding, for peace. You are not a therapist who is there to constantly talk about the same thing over and over again. And unfortunately, with friends in toxic relationships, I do think setting that boundary is beneficial to both parties and also can preserve the relationship, that friendship, a little bit better. Me and my boyfriend kind of had to do this with a friend in our relationship, where it's like they're in a relationship that is just so toxic, so negative, and it's like the first year, sure, you know, we'll talk about it, we'll help you through it, it's a new thing, let's chit chat about it. But now we're going on 5 years of talking about the same toxic situation that you keep finding yourself in. Got to a point where my boyfriend was just like, no more, like, we cannot keep talking to you about the same relationship, these same situations, these same cycles. Obviously, we are feeding into it by allowing these conversations to continue. I think you just need to figure this shit out for yourself at this point. And these conversations are just draining for everybody involved. We told you how we feel. I think you just need to handle it on your own. Now that we've kind of stuck by that, like, we see that person starting to escape a little bit more, starting to think about things differently, starting to have to figure it out on their own instead of engaging in that toxic cycle. It does work. It works. Sometimes you got to gentle parent your friends in that sort of manner. From both sides, I have seen how this works. Sometimes friends will have a good response to these kinds of conversations, not take it personally. Like, I understand. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you for understanding. Most of the time, especially if they feel like the victim, they might not have a good response to these things. They might not truly see how you feel and might want to take it out on you. Not all friends are going to be as understanding as others. I do hope and pray that your friend will escape this toxic relationship, this toxic cycle, and truly see your point of view. But I do think you need to prepare for sometimes people having negative responses. It doesn't mean you did a negative thing, doesn't mean you were acting in a negative way. It just means that maybe they have more to deal with on the inside, and that could be scary, and it can make people lash out. Boundaries will cause that. You'll see that. I promise you in life. Doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. Some people just don't like seeing walls in front of them and they want to immediately start fighting and break them down. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't always save our friendships, but you can always be a good friend. So have that hard conversation, put those boundaries in place, still be there for them. I don't think you have to completely remove yourself from the equation. I think those boundaries do help with kind of organizing that hangout, so then you don't have to keep falling into these therapist like conversations. But yes, I wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully your friend sees the light soon. Hopefully a hard conversation can help them see new perspectives. Be there for them and also show up for yourself in the same process.
The addiction won't stop. I was doing pretty good for a while, had a lot of stuff, so I just stopped buying things. So I ended up donating, and now I'm buying shit again. And I'm pretty good. I only walk away with 1 to 2 pieces compared to a bunch of shit. But let me know, girl. Love you.
Okay, babe. Well, it sounds like it's getting better. Step number 1 to consumerism and not consuming so much is just cutting back. You're not going to be able to go cold turkey. I feel that. I feel like you have that overconsumption phase and then you hit the I can't do this anymore and there's too much shit around me, so let me get rid of it all. But then it kind of frees up some space and you're like, well, let me get back out there. The positives that I'm seeing out of this is that you're not leaving with trash bags full of stuff again. You're not falling back into that cycle of overconsumption and consuming too much. You are simply just maybe looking for better pieces. It's okay to leave with 1 or 2 things. Leave with things you actually need, okay? Are you really going to use that trinket, or is it just something pretty? Are you really going to use that belt, or is it already peeling and is it going to fall apart? Are you really going to wear that pair of jeans? Do they actually fit you? Let's take time to try them on before leaving the store. You are starting to think more about things, and I think that is a positive green flag. All right. I don't think you should feel shameful right now, because it sounds like you are making steps into a better direction, and that's something to celebrate. Of course, the more you think about it and the more you get real with the things that you have in your house and what you use and what you drive inspiration from, the easier it will be to kind of deter away from the random things that you simply don't need in the thrift store, and the less you'll leave with. I get to a point in my life where I was leaving with trash bags, took a break, was leaving with a couple different things, took another break, did another purge. And now I'm at the point in my life where if I go to the thrift store, most of the time I leave empty-handed. Whereas in the past, it felt like I need to leave with something. I have to find something. Let me sit here for 4 hours, force myself to fall in love with a piece of item. Give yourself permission to not buy anything. It doesn't mean you failed a trip or that you failed searching. It just means maybe nothing was up to your standard this time, and it's okay to have those standards. It's okay to understand what you need and to be smart about those things. Your bank account, your home, your mental health will be much happier, and the less amount of purges you'll have to do of items. I'm about to do another purge just because I'm like, there's too much shit around me. I purged most of my closet, which was nice. Got rid of the things that I just didn't need. Now I just feel like the clutter. There's just too much clutter. I need to get rid of things. Ask myself if these things, really bring me joy. Maria Kondo my life. And I'm excited to do so. I think it's going to be really fun. But yeah, don't feel shameful about that. I see you going in a positive direction, and I think it's only going to get better from here. Ooh, we don't get a lot of these questions. Maybe I'll do like a Am I the Asshole episode. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a really great way to also maybe reframe some of your questions and get into the storytelling aspect of it all. Could be good. Let's start off with this one though. Am I an asshole if I need to break up with my partner before Christmas and a birthday? Ooh, this is a great question. I mean, no matter what, when you break up with somebody, unfortunately, you are the asshole. It is what it is. Someone's got to be the one to rip the band-aid off. So if you feel like it needs to be you and you feel like you have the courage to do so, I'm not going to tell you not to. I have been broken up with right before Christmas, and honestly, it was probably the best thing I could have gone through, because although I was hurting and it sucked and the holidays were ruined forever, at least I wasn't getting broken up with after the holidays or after my birthday and being like, well, what the fuck? Why the fuck did they go through both of these holidays with me? Why did they put on a facade? Were they faking it? Overthinking those situations. And just genuinely, I was with people that I enjoyed on those holidays instead of people who were having to feign a smile to be around me, if you know what I mean. So honestly, I think if it's something that you're just like, fuck, I need to do it, don't do it the day before. Don't do it the day of. Give yourself some buffer time. And if you're thinking of doing it now, where we have like 2 weeks until Christmas, hopefully the birthday is after Christmas, more time in between, do it now. Do it now. Ultimately, there's never a great time to break up with somebody. And yes, you will always probably be the asshole, but it's better to do it when you feel like you need to do it rather than forcing through social interactions where then they're going to have to think about, damn, I wasted a birthday with somebody who doesn't actually want to be with me. Or damn, I wasted a Christmas with somebody who doesn't want to actually be with me. Gives them more time to work through things, gives them time to be alone with family, with friends on those holidays, and ultimately, hopefully, kind of heal a little bit in the process. But no, do I think you're the asshole? Everybody's got to be the asshole at some point in time, but are you truly one in your heart? Probably not. What are some of your recent favorite purchases? I'm present shopping for my besties. Ooh, this year I've been very intentional about what I'm buying, except for my niece and nephew. I mean, yes, intentional as in like we only buy them Montessori toys and like not just junk. They are not iPad babies. I cannot just buy them a Coco Melon t-shirt. They're going to be like, who the fuck is that? But especially for like my sister-in-law and my brother, I'm really thinking about things that are like generally useful and not just trash, and also like not super expensive, little things that I can buy here and there. It's going to spark joy, and also something that's not going to break my fucking bank account. Okay, I bought my sister-in-law, which I'm obsessed with, which I do use every single second of the day, an Owala. A good water bottle is life-changing, okay? My sesh girlies know that. I don't know why I was always the one who forgot a water bottle during the sesh, but I had one friend every single time who always had a water bottle full of ice-cold water, and I am practically in love with that girl. Like, she truly saved my life. Every single sesh, she saved me and my friends' lives. So, a water bottle is great. I take this bad bitch with me every single place that I go. It has a chugging spout. It has a sipping spout. It's made for everybody. All right. It has a handle so I can whip it around, carry it around. And better than hydro flasks, the seal doesn't eventually break. So your lid will never leak on you. That was a huge problem with my last hydro flask, especially because I liked the straw mouths, is I couldn't just shove my water bottle in my purse because it's going to leak everywhere. This bad bitch fantastic. I love it. This was like $25. Great little Christmas gift, maybe accompanied with some fun stickers for the girls, for the gays, for your friends, for your family. Water bottles all the way. Another great Christmas gift, which I actually asked for Christmas, is I asked for a teapot, but outside of that, I wanted like a really good pair of handmade cups or mugs, teacups, whatever it was. I just wanted 2 that I could throw into my cabinet that I could sip my little fun little drinks out of in the morning and just feel so comfy cozy. For my brother's birthday, I actually got him a cute little mug, some nice espresso cups, but you can source these especially, which is really nice, from local creatives and local individuals who do make probably the most beautiful cups and mugs that you've ever seen in your entire life. Maybe they have customization opportunities, who knows? But if you can source locally, always, I highly recommend to do so. $25 or less. Fantastic. Last but not least, for the girls, I love a self-care item. I always ask for a self-care item for Christmas, whether it's a really nice handmade candle. Once again, can be sourced locally, can be sourced for cheap. Oh, Kush Collective Lounge, you know, the girl who gifted me the bong. So sweet. She also makes candles. They're sparkly. They smell amazing. Citrusy, slight vanilla, fantastic. I've been burning mine 24/7. If you need a place, that just came to mind. Fun candles, apothecary candles, maybe even 2 or 3 little ones that smell different that you're like, oh, this reminded me of you. Amazing, fantastic. If you want to pair it with something else or just something else entirely that also revolves in the self-care realm, a good face mask or a good body scrub. Like, I love Lush for that purpose because you can get like their body scrubs, like a tub of their body scrub for like $10, like a large size for $15. Oh my God, amazing. That and a cute little candle, bam, all of a sudden they got a self-care night. All of a sudden you have just made their Sunday night even better. And they're actually going to use this thing. It's not just going to sit around, collect dust. It's something that's going to actually impact their life in a positive way. A good little face mask. I love the Loops jelly face masks. You can buy them at Target for like a couple bucks. I love a Lush face mask. Honestly, as an acne prone girly, I think their products are pretty friendly for all skin types. Even their moisturizers. I love a self-care gift. Always. But yeah, those are kind of like simple, small, locally sourced things that I think you can get for anybody this season that they will enjoy, that they will actually use, and that you're not breaking the bank over. Anyways, with that being said, I love you all so very much. Sorry I kind of rambled this episode, but I think these are good topics. I had a good time. Next episode, we'll do like a question roulette, question speed round episode. See how many I can get through in one episode. I love doing them. Really keeps me on track. I usually set like a timer for 2 or 3 minutes and only allow myself that much time to ask those questions. So if you have something silly, unserious, am I the asshole, confessionals, anything your heart calls to, next week submit those. We will get into the craziness and the chaos. I think it will be a perfect episode leading into the holidays where maybe you just need a fucking break from the seriousness and a little laugh, a little joy. I think we can all use that during this time. But I love you all so very much. Shall we smoke one more bowl before leaving? Why not? Let's get into it. I'm about to go make myself a yummy little chicken salad and then sit at my new desk, set it all up. It's going to be so fantastic. I can't wait. I hope your Tuesday has treated you well, and I cannot wait to see you all next week. Cheers. Let's hit this. If you want to see more, join me on Patreon. New Patreon perks coming at a lower cost soon to you. Stay tuned for that. Patreon.com/Hannah Marlene. If you are already a member, guess what? No need to cancel or change. It will automatically be updated for you to a lower price. How amazing. And if you want to see what I'm up to, which if I'm being honest, haven't been posting a lot there, but the questionnaire is always up on my Instagram every Sunday at Hannah Marlene. If you want your question answered, I would love to hear from you guys. Cheers, hotties. Stay sexy, stay sane, and I'll see you all so soon. Mwah!